Hey, fellow riblets, it's me, Tom from Target Prime Rib. I got my one of my favorite riblets here, Juliet
Oh,
Eden, from oh God, from Carnivore Coach Eden.
that's
Did I get it
right.
right? Okay.
Yeah, the other day, I think it was Mitch said, "What's your channel name?" And I'm like, "Coach," and I got confused, and I'm like, "No, no, I think it's I didn't even." I must have changed my channel name, in August, July, about 5 times. I'm like, "What do I wanna go with?"
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there.
So a lot's been happening. We do have a special guest. Well, I guess special person in the chat. George Goodenough is here
Oh, I
with
love
us.
George.
So hey,
Hi.
George,
I have a
how you doing?
story, um, not a story, but I was checking my, you know how you go over your analytics? You guys know it. And it said most of the viewers that actually watch me are from UK, like a higher, way higher percentage. I mean, I have so few watching, but I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, it's probably
I
George
can
in the
check my
gang over
analytics
there.
to see if that's the case. I went. It seems like there's a lot of people that from the UK that seem to be carnivore. So maybe it's a thing over there that
I think
that
it's
they're
smaller
a
than
lot smaller than we are.
And maybe I can answer. I think it's smaller than the US, but I feel like George and Stephanie are really like reaching out to the States where there's more of us.
Right.
And we really connect well with our UK friends because we're Americans and we're goofy. Hi, Lewis. And we're goofy and we like the accent. So that's what gets us in the door. And then watching George, I love his content. So he needs a shout out for his channel name because I can't remember them all.
So
Okay.
I'm not
So
I'm not not really here, but I was gonna try to flag. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
yeah, no, we can hear you.
I,
Yeah, I made Lewis one of my moderators, Juliet, and to give him some more control over people being able to come on here and stuff like that. So.
So Thomas, we really should do this offline. I'll let you guys talk, but like I can't
stay
flag
on.
comments for you. You know,
Okay, that's not a problem. I think I
I
should be
want I
fine.
want to I want to be able to star them for you and like put them in like how they do it like on Steak and Butter Gang and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was hoping, actually. Oh, that's. I don't think we need to have all of you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
All
I
right,
don't
so
even know
what
who
we'll do,
near.
we'll try this when
Am I by
Right. And
myself
then,
now? What's going on?
how did you guess I was pushing buttons? Okay. I think I got it. You're with us, but you're offline. You're off the scene,
Hi, Sandy.
and that's all right. Yeah. I mean, I actually did switch you from standard moderator to managing moderator, so that might help on YouTube. Yes, I didn't set you up a moderator on ENVUX. It's just on YouTube. I didn't know how to do that. Yeah, I figured it would be in that. Yeah,
I feel like I'm on Rick's show when Rick's on the phone.
Rick, Rick's always on the phone. All right, thank you.
Hi, Miss Laugh a
Yeah, it's
lot.
funny. The whole time, no one's for that last part of it. No one saw Lewis, so they probably thought we were talking to ourselves.
Oh, they did?
So
I couldn't, well, yeah,
probably
I couldn't hear
that's
him
fine.
well. I couldn't hear him well. You heard him okay?
Yeah, I heard him fine.
I don't know. Anyway, I was looking at the
No,
chat saying
my
hi to.
hearing's getting much better now. So we got a lot of people in here now. Look how this built up. Okay, so we got Evelyn here. Hey, Evelyn, how you doing?
Woohoo.
And just to let everybody know, like I think everybody's realizing that I'm a little worried about not getting many people on my channel to do interviews because I'm not sure exactly how to do. I know I used to do my lives without the interviews, but I just feel more comfortable having a person on to be able to chat with them. That's why it's called chewing the fat. If I do chewing the fat by myself, then I'm just chewing
Wait a
my own
minute.
fat.
If if I set up a live stream for only your channel, not mine, I'm
Mhm.
just thinking, help me think. And you're the guest, and then you come on, I leave you out, and your guest has the same thing. Can't you and your guest, ju- like, I'm not in? You know what I mean? If I specify it's your channel, we should do a test one day. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like Lewis
I
has
I
got, go
kind of
ahead.
kind of think I do. Um, but no, the one point I wanted to make out was just to test something out. I actually set up a calendar, so a person can actually go onto the link, and it will give you what days are available, the times, and you can actually set up an appointment to be interviewed by me. Um, so we're going to see if that works. So I put the link, I pinned it to the top. So if anybody is here, it's not being interviewed by me. Feel free to actually go into the link and do that. So I just want to put that out there. All right. And we're not shocked by this. We got Lewis in the chats. We got Sandy Blythe, Miss Laugh a Lot, aka Nikki, the Feral
Nikki.
Grandma, and and here with me right now is Juliet. So far, it's only those guys, but I know that we're going to get more people in.
Let's
I know
plan.
we're also fighting against Erin right now, so I know she's got a few people
Oops.
in her live, but Erin's lives never last that long, so I'm sure people will come over here once Erin's live is done.
Yeah,
Um,
just rattle the kids' cages a little. I think the last one, I was looking. I watch on replay more than lives. It just, you know, and
yeah, just
yeah, I was ready, settled in with my little cup of coffee or whatever, and it ended like at 22 minutes because we were a little what rocky, I think. And I'm like, Arian, that was too fast. I was listening, to Erin's again, I usually catch her on replay, and I was in the living room working. This is my home office, and the bed's right there, and I get, all day stuck in here. So on weekends, I'll work in the living room, and I had Erin on, and I keep it low. Finally, my daughter looks at me, and I won't use bad words. She's 27. She's like, "What in the hell is all that noise, mom?" And I was like, "Oh, that's the lady with all the chickens." She's like, "Oh my god." I was like, yeah, it was just funny, her reaction, because she's like, "I'm looking around, I'm not knowing what's going on," da, da, da. So,
oh, God.
I was on
So,
Rick's today, Rick Live. I usually put it on and then shower and stuff like that. And, um, I was watching and Kurt had come on, Meathead, right? He
mhm.
called, and I think you were there. And,
We call it
I
that.
must have got back 2 hours later, and they were still on the phone. I was dying laughing. I just laugh at his channel all morning. And then I posted I was telling you this before because it's not necessarily a sad thing, but my 18-year-old, cat passed today, and, it was during Rick Live. Okay, so I laughed and, my daughter was crying, but we're good. You don't want them to suffer. She was 18. It was kind of one of
Mhm.
those when my husband and I went away, it was like, "Oh God, please don't die when it's just my daughter." And I think she chose when to pass and very peacefully, before she got worse. And so anyway, I mentioned on the chat, not for attention because we're good. And but Rachel, my daughter, doesn't know Rick like we do. And Rick goes, "Well, guess it's time for another one." And my daughter was sitting there, and I had to do damage control. I'm like, "No, no, that's just Rick." It just, I mean, she laughed eventually. She was repeating it to my husband, her dad. So I found it. I just find humor in Rick, so it made my day. I just died laughing. Like, oh, just go
Yeah,
grab another one there.
I really, I don't really say anything against like Kurt. Kurt, I don't say anything against Kurt at all,
No,
or Rick.
no,
But it's fun. Like I can't really tease Kurt about them
no,
having such a
no.
long conversation because I actually talked with Rick one time for like 3.5 hours. So on his thing, so a couple times actually. So I can't really say, like tease them about being on for a long time because who am I to talk, So you
Well, my
know,
daughter has friends of very, very, very high IQ, and and she has, I hate to label, but I'm just giving some background. And many of them are very functionally autistic. They're teachers and everything. So what I quickly did, and it's not true. Everyone, this is not true. Okay, this is my little girl who's 27-year-old whose cat just died. So I look at her. I'm like, his IQ's 164, and he's autistic. And so I'm sorry, Rick, if he's not watching. But I knew those were the words that then she thought it was funny because she understands that language because she talks about one of her good friends, and I won't mention male or female this person, and she says that the autism he has, it's more like he doesn't know how to react, doesn't get those emotions, and she's used to it. It's fine, but if you say something, he doesn't like. We get tongue tied as at. I'm not average, but you don't know what to say. I'm sorry, but he just goes blank, so she understood immediately, and I'm glad because she laughed. But Rick is not autistic, people. Please, no lawsuits, Rick. No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
Well,
And Sandy's actually mentioning in the chats right now. She's mentioning about Chris cooking Nashville. He just did a thing, and yes, Sandy, I actually did see it. That he is actually revealing that he has OCD, bipolar autism, and several
oh,
things. That was a very touching video. Um,
mm,
it just explains. Usually, he does a cooking video on
yeah,
Saturdays, but
yeah.
that he just did that where he's telling about like just what's
I'll have
been kind of affected him lately.
to, I'll
Yeah,
have to watch that. I think I was telling you
yeah,
guys that, or maybe it was, but one time I had severe depression. I'm not saying I don't have it at all, but I generally don't. I mean, I get my normal days like you express. I'm
yeah,
kind of outgoing and stuff, but I do get sensitive, and I continually work on that. But anxiety, stuff like that. And at one point, I guess I'm in my 40s, they said I was bipolar as well. And I, eventually a doctor said, you're not. I went, to several doctors. I wasn't looking for you're not. I was just looking for help because they start putting you on so many meds. And I get it, but it's amazing how those of us with mental disorders, depression, anxiety, potentially bipolar, everything's a trial. Well, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try. And I just ended up worse than ever. Just the mix. Take this in the morning. It's terrible. So I feel for him, and I'm glad he talked about it because I know everyone's going to support him for
yeah.
sure. The Berries, Dr. Ken Berry and Nisha talk about him a lot on their channel.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure they love him. Um, so
So
Smoothie joined the group, so she's here. Um,
hi,
and trying to think if I see
like the
anybody else.
thumbnail.
I don't, but again, I think people will join. Um, so for the reason why we're here,
Uh,
I, I mean, you don't have to, but I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the ability. So we're here to hear your story and for you to tell a little bit about not necessarily what brought you to Carnivore, but just a little bit about your journey um, with this. So I like to just sit back. If there are any questions in the chats, I will probably. Uh, I guess I could. If anything pops up, I'll try to bring it on. But if not, I'll just go like this. If you can see my finger, and then that would just mean that there's a question for you. But I'm
and
going to
I'll
try to bring it in. Well, I mean,
You have
Not
to eat.
yes and no because you'll need to answer the question if it's for you.
I know, and this
But
time I don't have. Remember on kilts, I'm like a popular answer. I was just like, oh my god, Patterns cat Carnivore.
motorcycles here are a little bit more aren't as complex as the ones on kilts. So I'm a little. I actually this will be my second time, but I'll actually be on kilts on the 19th.
The
So
trick with kilts, okay, and all of them, don't wait for them to talk. As soon as you go live, start your story because that few minutes beforehand is kind of awkward. And if you
yeah,
get
yeah.
kilts too much time,
Well,
he's going to ask
last
you.
time Ollie, it was just me and Alia, and then Kiltz like was there, but he wasn't there. He kind of like was doing some things, and then
Oh
Nelson
yeah,
came in later on. So Alia right away asked me to tell my story. So I don't know how much of my story they want to hear a second time around, but
they do. They don't remember.
yeah,
Just assume they don't
yeah,
remember. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. No, and I'll be fine. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
just I mean, it's just I can't believe it's coming this close. It's one day before my birthday,
I
so
know.
yeah,
I had the
so.
wrong date, but I was thinking for your birthday, and people always suggest what you should do. I did a video today, real quick, short, and I'm like, "Should's a shitty word, so let's not use it." That was one of my lines, and I always say that, like, "Don't tell me what I should do. It's a shitty word." And I'm saying SHOULDY, YouTube, so don't block me. I'm not saying the other word. Um, but I just did a video on that. But I thought for your birthday, if you wanted to, of course, everybody may overpower you, but have a birthday party and let people, if you have this ability to do it, like join live and pop in
I
happy
might.
birthday, and then kick them
I'm
out. Yeah.
having I'm having a really popular guy that's going to be doing. I'm doing an interview with somebody
Oh, okay.
next on my birthday. But I was thinking of doing doing with him, and of course he's invited too. You know, but then going live like maybe an hour, 2 hours later, like after I eat.
Yeah.
And having the birthday party.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to come
Thomas's birthday
on,
party.
I don't know how many people I can actually fit with the phone because I don't know if I want to have my new computer by then.
But
But
that's what maybe let them pop in, say a couple words, or maybe have a theme like what's one you know, funny memory of Thomas, whether through any of our interactions or something you said. I think that'd be fun to
yeah,
kind of jump in and
yeah.
jump out.
Yeah. So it's gonna start. It's gonna start off at 4 o'clock with Russ Mitchell,
Nice. Love
and
him.
so he's probably gonna. I mean, he'll have a lot to tell, but I'm guessing he's gonna be pretty entertaining too because
Oh God, yeah.
being a comedian, I don't think he's really former, but I just don't know if he really performs anymore. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
I thought he was just
I think
funny.
yeah,
He
he
is.
was a comedian for. I'm not sure if he still does comedy, but yeah. Um, and having him on and with his singing and everything like that. I mean, but if he doesn't have to sing, he doesn't have to sing if he doesn't want to. But if he wants to sing, or
He'll
bring on the
sing.
Reverend, either way, bring on. I keep on forgetting the name, Reverend
I don't know. I
Ivy
don't remember.
Carbon, Reverend Ivy Carbon.
That's right. He's so funny. He is so he's so good. But oh, the story. I'll kinda go backwards and start at the end a little bit because
Okay.
I almost am apologetic because, women are on that struggle with weight, and, I always hate to talk about weight or anything, but when I started carnivore, it wasn't for weight at all, and some people will hate to hear this, but I'm like Rick, and I eat 3 full meals a day, sometimes more, and I don't eat till I'm satiated. I shovel as much carnivore food and fat as I can. And the net result is I don't gain weight. So I always say carnivore works because I eat as much as I can. And when I started carnivore, I actually lost body fat because, like, I had stomach rolls. I'm 61. They didn't bother me, and I really and truly thought that was loose skin. I'm like, "Oh, I just have some loose skin, no big deal." And then it kinda went away with carnivore. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't have loose skin. That was just a little body fat." But when I listen to Rick, I laugh because 'cause I'm like, we sound alike. But, what I did start carnivore for, Luckily, and I'm really going backwards on my story, after trying all these diets, this will make you better. I should add a big factor I've never talked about. My dad got severe Alzheimer's at age 56. He was gone. He lived to 70, but he was literally a vegetable by the time he was my age. The chances of us getting Alzheimer's, and by us, my parents had 4 kids, is 1 in 4. So when we were younger, it was always a joke, who's gonna be the one? But as I hit my dad's age, I have an older brother, older sister, younger sister, I and you start forgetting because that's pretty normal, I guess. I just uh, part of it was that too. Like I forget things, uh, or I used to forget. I mean, an awful lot of things. Like my daughter's name, I'd call her the cat name, and I know that happens, but it wasn't happening to me, and it started happening a lot. And, my mom is in her 90s and she's doing great, but she always reminded me, if you remember that you forgot and it bothers you, it's not Alzheimer's, because Alzheimer patients will never realize they forgot. They're live like if they're talking, if they think this is 1930, like my dad did, they aren't, they are in 1930. So that was helpful. But I was concerned about Alzheimer's, but my main concern was really just my brain, my stress level. I was on like over the top dosage of Prestige. The psychiatrist gave me higher than that highest dose, and then other trazodone for anxiety and sleep. So I was on a lot of different medications, and no wonder I forgot everything. I mean, my brain was just mush. And it was more like in my 50s that one thing after another happened. And I talked about, surgeries and injuries from years of being obsessed with weight training, like an addiction. And that addiction in my 40s, I literally could not miss a day of working out. And it's hard to understand. I would not allow myself to miss. If I had to miss, I mean, a tragedy happened, someone died, I would wake up at 3 to work out before I went to the funeral. Like, I had to be there working out, not to lose weight, but to build muscle, and that became such an addiction. I destroyed my body in a lot of ways, including, hiatal hernia, which caused major GERD. That surgery was a little rough. It cut right across. I still have little scars. Shoulder injury, um, knee swelling like this in my little skinny knees. So I had a lot of injuries from that started to pile in my 50s. And I think high blood pressure really bothered me more than anything in the whole world, because at that point I was following a healthy diet. Like I didn't eat desserts. I had salads. I think I had a bagel with peanut butter every day with my coffee and fat-free cream or fat-free half and half for like 5 years. That was my breakfast. And you look back and you're like, no nutrition. It was just a tablespoon of peanut butter, So, but I thought I was healthy. I had fruits and veggies, and uh, I was just getting worse. And my doctor just said, "There's nothing you could do, especially with you. You have no weight to lose, Juliet. You can't lose weight to regulate it. Um, you're already on sleep meds, so you're sleeping well. You exercise, which I not like before. I skip a lot. I don't think I've worked out in 2 weeks. You exercise. No, there's just nothing." And that might have been the last straw. The diabetes I was used to, it was coming on, prediabetes, prediabetes. Everyone in my family got diabetes, including my dad after Alzheimer's at around the age of 60, type 2. And he had to take insulin, or they had to inject insulin in him. Same happened to my brother. I think he's 66 now, but in his 60s, same. And I'm like, I'm next, you know? And so when I was actually diagnosed with diabetes, with high blood pressure, and then the IBS got worse. And the mental aspect, I was just really, I was depressed, but I was also a loose cannon quite a bit. Very quick to anger, very quick, like the littlest thing. You just didn't know if I was going to blow up or it was just crazy up and downs. So before I hit carnivore, and it's a weird way to get there, maybe a good way, is I shared I spent like $6,500 for a 1 year program to have an online coach with kind of a nutritionist. And they plugged into your workout plan, so they knew if you're working out or not. It timed everything. They were in my food app, my Fitness Pal. I had to use that and share that so they could link in any single time. Um, Weekly calls, with your coaches and stuff. It's like The Biggest Loser, but the safety of your home. So it was kind of restrictive and a little new to me. Now, the bodybuilding world, I had some experience, but back then we didn't necessarily have to weigh and measure when the coaches gave me the diets to eat. It was like 2 turkey slices. I didn't know what I was eating, just what they told me. So with this particular coach and this program, first of all, they were very anti-carnivore, very anti-low carb. I was more pro low carb, like 100 grams or less back then. So, she would be like, "Stop eating low carb. You need more veggies and berries." And she taught me what grams were and how to measure gram. I didn't know how to do this. And I had to weigh and measure every bit of food I ate. And I was only allowed, even at my thin build, 1,800 calories. And I'm like, I drink more than that in wine. How am I going to eat 1,800 calories a day? Um, And what drove me to the end of that it is restricting, even though you could eat X and this, whatever. It is restricting. It's obsessing. You get obsessive. Oh, I have 4.5 grams. I'm supposed to have 4. Oh, okay. I just won't. It's just stupid. Um, but her pushing, I don't blame her. Believe me, I have choices. But, eat more veggies. You have to get your carbs from veggies. And, you know, one day I'll never forget, I had 80 grams of fat that day. And while she was a nice coach, she was like, 80 is a lot. That's a lot for one day. She would like go crazy. I can't imagine calling her and saying, "Oh, I eat over 200 a day. I think, 240, whatever it is, it is."
Right.
But, she was not happy with my high fat. Um, but anyway, eating all those fruits and vegetables, my IBS got so bad. And I like to say I don't like having IBS because it seems what they slap on you when they don't know what it is. Like my sister has a cool one, Crohn's disease, and I'm kind of flippant about this, but it's a label. I think people better understand her eating issues and cater. My daughter, unfortunately, that the 27-year-old I was speaking to you or us about earlier, she has
Right.
chronic colitis, and that's tough. That's tough when you're so young to have that diagnosis. Um, but I just got plain old IBS. So I think people felt less understanding of, foods to order at restaurants if they were ordering hors d'oeuvres or groups of food or me running to the bathroom all the time. Uh, my daughter who has colitis. She got a good girlfriend. It tickles me because maybe people thought this about me. She said her friends pulled her aside and thought she might be bulimic, which she's not. She wasn't because she was in the bathroom all the time, and they didn't
Right.
realize.
Well, it could
She
be that.
eats. Yeah, 20 minutes later, she knows where the bathroom is, and it. Depends on the day. She'd have to be in there for a very long time. Um, so I was dealing with all that when it was this same coach. So maybe we could call her an angel in the end. Said you need to do an elimination diet, and I looked that up online and kept coming across Sean Baker, Sean Baker, Sean Baker because he just popped up
Mhm.
all over the place. And I didn't even watch them I didn't watch him at all. I was like, he's weird. Next, weird. And probably from watching him so much, or he popped up so much, and me at least tuning in, even if only for 30 seconds, more and more carnivore stuff started popping in, started popping in, started popping in. And then that's when I started reading it and seeing all these people. And I'm like, okay, it's crazy, but all these people in the comments they're not all lying and they're not all crazy. They can't be. And look at the healing. And I thought, I'm going to go on this. And my only hope was to help with this IBS because I could deal with crazy mind, high blood pressure. Okay, I'm on meds. Diabetes, I'm on meds. That's kind of taking care of it. But the IBS got debilitating. Just in bed for literally, we'd be getting ready to go to friends, say now on a Saturday, and we're supposed to meet them at 5 o'clock. At 4:30, I'm so often I had to cancel. I had to tell my husband, I can't move. The pain was so bad. So that's how I started Carnivore. And I absolutely did not cheat. I really didn't have. I probably had cravings the first 2 weeks, but I don't remember. But I remember being insatiable. Like, there were no 3 meals a day. It was pork rinds, meal, pork rinds, more pork rinds, meal. I drank soda a little bit, I think, at first. Gosh, I just don't remember. I think I had soda, my Diet Coke, and I reduced it. Um, but I wasn't eating enough fat until, Papa kept yelling at me on Kilts Live. But that was
Yeah,
already,
it did the same thing to me too.
yeah, that was and it was just like he just kept saying it, and he'd be like, "Eat more fat, okay? How you doing? How you doing?" And I didn't know him, and I thought it was just annoying, but I did. I was like, "Okay, I'm going to throw in more fat." And it wasn't easy at all because I come from that mindset of weighing, measuring, da da da. So when I
Mhm.
would put it in MyFitnessPal before I deleted everything, I have no idea what I eat, how many calories, no clue. But I would put it in and it would be 240, some days even 300 grams of fat. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I was scared. That's how much I feel like I was not necessarily eating, but just disordered eating. And I just kept talking myself through it and watching you guys. I first met you on Steak and Butter Gal in one of the Zoom calls. And I don't know why I even noticed you or whatever, because I don't think we were talking. I think it was a presentation. And I was like, I wonder who that guy is over there. He looks bored or something like that. You looked bored and you had a hat on. I don't
That was.
so I don't know. That it's weird how I don't know. I think some things are synchronicity. Like I just and
Yeah.
and then I didn't I didn't stalk you, and I'd see you on another, and then I would see you on Kilts. That's where I started. The day he started at 6 a.m. Eastern is the day I found Kilts because it was 5 a.m. my time. And
Okay.
there, and then I heard you were starting a channel. So I sort of followed you the whole time, not in a stalker way. Red Guy was a little
Okay.
more
I
stalkerish.
mean,
Good.
I'm not worried, so So okay, so just to give you a little connection there. My grandmother actually had Alzheimer's. So, but I don't know if it's a fortunate thing or an unfortunate thing. But my parents got divorced when I was like 7,
Oh,
and so my father lived in Virginia with my grandmother, and so I never saw her until like I was 13. And by that time, she forgot. She did not remember anything. And but the weird thing is this. Okay, sometimes things happen that are a little strange, and I thought this was really strange at 13. The only person she remembered for who they were was her one son-in-law.
really?
She remembered.
Oh,
She's like, "Yeah, you're my son-in-law," and everything like that. But yet, she remembered her daughter as a little girl. So everybody cannot understand why is it normal for you to have a daughter that's like 8 that's married to like this 50-year-old, you know?
wow.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the only thing that everybody was perplexed by. But yeah, my father, just like Aaron, my father was one of 9 kids, so it
Wow.
wasn't. Unfortunately, there's only one aunt that's left in the family. Everybody else has passed away. So all eight children, including my father, has passed away like years ago. But
Did others,
so that's that
have
story.
Alzheimer's? Like, I don't know if it's a genetic factor or, like, did others on
Well,
that side of the family?
well, I think that it's possible that I could get it. But I
Not
kind of
you.
agree with Dr. Nelson. I kind of agree with
I was
them,
say,
Dr. Berry, that a lot of things are genetic, but it's our diet that makes us pull the trigger. So
oh,
as long as we have the right diet, it should not really come out. As long as we're doing the right thing and eating the right foods, I think that we're going to be okay. I'm not saying that for sure,
right,
but
right.
I have a lot more confidence with the diet I'm eating now. So I'm not really that, like just with diabetes, it's like I think a lot of us can genetically, like I know my family is genetic because my aunt had diabetes, my grandfather on my father's side also had diabetes. So, and my mom was adopted, so I have no idea on her side if there was anybody diabetic and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So if that's the case, then I think that it's very possible, that even my sister or her kids could have the trait of being diabetic. Now they don't really eat the stuff that we eat, and I love them,
Yeah, right, right, right.
but they're very active. They're extremely active, like not just
Uh-huh.
active, like working out active, but my sister's like always busy. So's my niece. So's my nephew. My brother-in-law. He's always busy. They're always running around. They're always doing vacations. They're always doing this. They're going swimming. They're doing. They're always. So I think
Yeah,
that helps them. I think if something ever happened that they had to be um, sanitary, then I think that the diet would start getting to. Like if they had to be a whole year of like sitting on the couch, then I'm sure the
yeah,
diet would get. You know. But my sister's very understanding with what I'm doing now, and I think she sees that it's working for me and
yeah.
everything. So, um, and everything's good. But to go into another story to talk about the colitis. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
tell
my mom's friend had colitis,
mhm.
and she was really bad. She had the colostomy bag and everything. So
Oh,
she ate all the wrong foods. I have no idea what happened to her. She kind of ended the friendship with my mom way before.
mhm.
A big long story. It was a stupid thing that happened, but so we haven't really seen her in years. So I have no idea if she's still alive or not. But she was just a friend. I called her my aunt, but she was just a friend of my mom's,
Yeah.
and they were friends for like since I was born. Like before I was born, they were friends. So the friendship ended when I was about 45. So for 45 years, they were great friends. And just to give
Yeah.
a quick thing, somebody got my mom, but they were going to move to this place together that was owned by the boyfriend of her sister, and someone convinced my mom to complain about how much you'd have to pay for rent. So now my mom's friend is a very nice lady, but she does have a slight case of Down syndrome.
Mm,
So, she was I mean, she's very nice, very good heart and everything like that. But she didn't always think rationally, if that makes any
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
And the person, I'm not going to say who it was that convinced my mom to say something to her friend, to my aunt, but um, she convinced my mom to say something about how much she's spending. Okay.
Mm,
And so she said something.
uh-oh.
So then her friend went to her sister complaining. So her sister right away is like, "This is how much it is. I don't want you to be friends with her anymore. She's not going to be moving in with you."
Ugh,
Well, instead of going to her sister and saying, "No, this is a friend of mine for 40 years. I think she'd understand if we explain it to her." Instead
right.
of saying that, she's like, "Okay, I won't be friends with her anymore." And she dropped my mom as a friend because someone told her to drop her off as a friend.
Oh my god, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So later on, she apologized, but like years later. But my mom was just too. She was like I don't really. I've lived all this time without her for a few years, and I
Too
have
much
enough
drink.
going on. I don't need the drama of bringing her back in because So, and she's done this before. She was doing that like before. Like other people would say something to her,
Wow.
and like one time she ended the friendship because she got married, and she's like, "Well, I can't be friends with you anymore because I'm getting married and you're single."
Oh, bless her.
That's the kind of
At the same Missouri, bless
simplicity.
her heart.
Yeah, yeah. So, so she had the colostomy bag and everything like that. But what made it also funny, there's a couple other coincidences that I actually worked for a company called. You ever hear of Pitney Bowes?
Yes, of course, yeah. They're big.
Okay. Well, they also do, besides the mailing, they also do shipping and receiving.
Oh, okay.
And I actually did shipping and receiving for them, working for them at a company called Bristol Myers Squibb, which is another famous
Pharmaceutical, isn't it?
pharmaceutical, right? Which
Yeah.
is, I know, look at where we're at. I'm working for a pharmaceutical company, but I only did deliveries. I didn't do anything else. Okay. And I heard stories that would blow your mind, but
Um,
Um, they were connected to another company. I forget the name of the company, but that really doesn't matter. That I had to drive to back when I was driving. And what they did was they made colostomy bags at this
wait,
company.
which
Not
company?
Pitney Bowes. No, it was a whole different.
Oh,
It was Comatech or something like that. It was called.
the company you
And
got the name of. Got you.
yeah, like I pretty much they like pretty much said, "Hey, you want to make some extra money?" I'm like, "Okay,
Sure
well,
do.
we're gonna 2 days out of the week. Well, not really extra money, but do you
Yeah.
mind traveling here? You know?" And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So I just would travel, and within the building, I would do shipping and receiving, like mail and stuff like that, and I would, and also like do like copy paper and all that stuff. And but the company itself, the whole building was there was a warehouse that made colostomy bags.
Wow. Gosh, that's kind of scary. How many coloscopy bags do they need?
Enough for one building, I guess. Yeah, yeah. And then I also have a thought too that if is your daughter carnivore or is she no? Have
She
you ever
eats.
seen
She
Have you
eats.
ever seen Kent Carnivore?
It's familiar. I don't know. I watched so much in the
Yeah,
past.
I would watch him. He has. I don't watch him all the time myself, but I don't have Crohn's, so
Yeah.
at least I don't think I do. I hope I don't. I mean, I know
Oh,
I go to the bathroom all the time and everything like that, and I have some issues, but I always thought it was connected to my gastroparesis.
my sister knew
Um,
she had it because she was bleeding a lot, and that's when they had to take out the intestines and stuff for her.
okay. um, but he actually has a colostomy bag,
I
and
think I know who you're talking about then.
yeah. And
And
he
he's younger.
actually, Erin's live must have ended. She's here.
Oh,
Hey, hey, Erin, how
sorry,
you doing?
Erin, for the time.
Yeah. um, he actually did a video where he mentions that they say about like they say about the nutrition, and when he eats meat, he hardly has anything in the colostomy bag.
I
But
remember
yet, if he eats carbs, he
these.
has to empty it out all the time.
Yeah, my daughter has a little bit of a, I don't know, PTSD from it. She eats about 5 different foods. Lots of pasta, lots of Raos. Too
Yeah,
many
the
carbs,
pasta's probably good, I would think.
just tons. But, what's strange, and I've talked to her, but what's really strange is she's always been one of those. I'm 5'9", 5'10", 5'9" now. She's tiny and lean, but she's the type that she could just get up, do whatever, not eat anything until 1 or 2 o'clock. She makes her pasta, eat that, and that's about it. Like even when she was little, like 6, 7, 8 years old, I would have to be like, Rachel, you need to eat. You haven't eaten all day. She was like, Mom, I just ate. I go, what did you have? She'd say pancakes. And I'd say, Rachel, that was 9 hours ago. That's what I gave you for breakfast. Like, she could there's these odd people that I don't understand how she doesn't get hungry or the moods with the food go all day. And I think she got used to it because not only being a teacher now, but being a student, even to this day, when is teaching, she won't eat before college. She won't eat, she won't eat. And I think it's because she doesn't know. She doesn't know how she'll react. So she eats nothing but carbs, but so far she's okay. But yeah, we've had lots of talk about it. But I am able to get some meat in her with a bun, or if I make her tuna fish, she likes it. She doesn't rely on me for food, I promise. But there's something about mom's tuna that she likes, so I try to make her. I try to just get that protein in her because she doesn't eat fat, not on purpose. It's just not her in her food group.
Right. And I think when you try to help different people, like I have who I'm trying to help. The only way that a lot of times that you're really going to get um, it in of being able to help them is really by you just offering to cook for them, or them just asking you, and so if you can sneak it in, I know it sounds dishonest and it sounds a little like, but it's really the only way, because if they do everything on their own, which is sort of why I do what I do, because
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
I
know
agree.
it would be all junk food, like
Yeah.
it would be like, it wouldn't even be the sad diet. You just wouldn't understand, and he would be going for the, for the burritos and for this and that, and, but he's doing he's doing better than he was,
Well, I'm still
and
tapping away at my husband, and and unplug for our 7 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. He comes on with me, and he was pretty open to some of my suggestions.
yeah, well, he
It's not gonna.
seemed he seemed like he was pretty. When I saw the interview that you had with him the other
Oh, you saw
day,
it? Oh,
yeah, um, he seemed pretty pretty connected, pretty, like I don't know if I felt he was fully carnivore, but it does seem like he's open to the possibilities somewhat,
he he
and
did
that's what you
seem
need. You
open.
just need a little window. You just need a little, just have the window open a crack to
Yeah,
open it up the rest of the way. So
and
I think you're close.
honestly, I wasn't fooling about the title. We don't discuss it. Like that was a first real discussion. Like, when I said
Right.
ketovore, like he was like, "What is that?" Like I try not to push it on him, but I could see slowly he's making changes. And I did see he was saying he was gonna eat less bread. And then on Monday morning, he's like, "I'm all out of my Dave's 21 killer bread." And I said, "Wait, don't talk about save it for Sunday." So anytime he's about to bring up something, I'm like, "No, bring it up Sunday. If it's food related, what does it say? I've never been on disability. Does that affect just does
Okay,
that
so Bill Cook is asking. I'm not sure if he's
hi,
asking you
hi
or
Bill.
me,
He's
but
asking, are you on
and
disability? I'm
And
not.
Bill's part of the coaching course, I think, on with Kills.
I see Bill all over.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill.
So, like, I've never been on disability. Does that affect decision making for health or? Um, yeah, no. But you answer that question first if you have an answer.
No, I was thinking if he like my husband. I shouldn't talk about my husband, but he works and everything like that. But when he was on some disability, he was in the military. Um, I think maybe Bill's referring to, like, he could only go to the doctors they tell him to and approve certain medications and certain testing, like, that's all done through the government, I think, if that's part of the
Um,
question. Like, if you're
yeah,
on disability and you get payments from the government or the some sort whether Medicare, Medicaid, VA, if they're who your insurance coverage is, you're at the mercy of them. But
yeah, sort of. I I'm on disability. So they it doesn't really affect my decision on my diet or anything like that, but it does affect what certain drugs that they would prescribe for me. Like there's some drugs that they will not approve,
Mhm.
and which doesn't really matter because I'm trying to get off all drug.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter to me on that particular front. But what is affected is really rehabs and hospitals on food. It's kind of hard to be fully carnivore when they well, first off, even if they do what you ask, it's not going to be cooked, or so there's still going to be like seed oils. It's not like they're going to take eggs and
Mhm.
cook them in like clarified butter. They're going to cook them in seed oils. So even when you're being good, you're not necessarily being good, if that makes any sense. So in that particular way, it affects. I mean, like when my last time being in rehab, I was a little bit more, I guess you could say, problematic to them. That I actually told them that I do not want you to put me on a diabetic diet. I will pick my food myself. If I hear that I'm not allowed to have something, you're going to hear from me. Basically, is what I said to the doctor,
Good for
the
you.
ER doctor,
Good for you.
and he listened to me. Now, unfortunately, his resident, the lady right below him, decided to change the orders and give me limitations. But then, as soon as I found out about it, um, I said something to the attendee, and he's like, "Yeah, no." I put it down that he was able to choose whatever he wanted because he's not here for his diabetes. He's here to have his wound closed. So he's just here to go to surgery, get his wound closed, and have it heal while he is, and the only reason why he's staying at rehab is because he is non-weight bearing and he can't stand on his foot, you know. So that was the only reason why at that time. So I mean, I was like okay in other ways. I wasn't like it was after the infection. I was a little bit better, and things were starting to move up. But I was like, I got this was like the final thing I had to do to bring myself in to fully getting better. And it was actually during while I was, it was during, I'm trying to think when it was, September of last year, I think. So it was about a year ago. So it was
This
like,
was a year ago you were oh, when you got the infection and everything?
no, 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 the infection was a little bit before that. I'm very bad with
Mhm.
timelines. So
I
it
thought
might
it
be
was, like,
actually a little bit
long
after
ago, like
September.
5 years.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Oh,
oh,
the infection was not that long ago at all.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's about 2 years ago was the infection.
Wow.
And everything happens around September, so it's probably why I value my
Uh-oh.
birthday so much because when I had the infection, I actually went into the hospital on the 19th.
Oh, goody.
When I
Wow.
when they
Wow.
finally figured out it was an infection, I actually was admitted into the hospital on the
Was
19th.
it, like, staph? Is that why they had to admit you? Or it just wasn't
It
responding and
was
it
it
got
was a
worse?
MRSA infection right inside the spine, and it was causing paralysis basically. Like it slowly like was eating me away,
Oh
and
my.
yeah,
'Cause
I
I've
was
heard the
unable.
word Thomas infection, you've overcome some, people saying, but, like, I never chatted, "What exactly are you talking," like, you know what I mean? Because I guess it's 2 years ago, so you're not gonna talk about it every single time, but,
Mhm.
newer people don't know. Not that it's our business, but
Yeah,
that's scary. Wow.
yeah.
How long
Yeah,
did you
I
have to
was
stay in the
actually.
hospital and in rehab?
I literally thought for those 3 months I wasn't going to walk ever again. Like I thought that like I knew I was in a vegetable, but I had a push, and it was very painful for me. Like pain pills wouldn't even cut it. That's how bad I was. And like I couldn't sit. I was like sitting down like I am now was too painful. I literally could not, like it would take me hours to fall asleep because the pain was so bad that I just couldn't. And I had to have like nurses and orderlies like pull me up in bed just to sit me up to be able to eat. And half the time I couldn't even eat. So it's
Wow.
just I was pretty bad shape. Yeah.
I've heard you say I couldn't get out of bed, but I don't know what that means. There have been days I can't get out of bed, but I'm perfectly fine. I just couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And then
you're
when you
just
do your walk,
tired or
sometimes
whatever.
you're like, you said when you do your walk, sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm kind of slow. And I'm watching you. I'm like, it looks pretty damn fast to me. I'm like
Yeah, I used to
strolling
be a
in.
lot better. I used to be able to. I could. There was a time where I could like go around the track. Like right now, I can only do the short round of track. Like sometimes I try for the long round, but
Yeah.
it just hurts too much. But I'll do the short time around, and I basically can do once, around. But there was a time I could go around the long way, like 4 or 5 times with no problem. I could do like 10, 15 miles with no problem whatsoever. And there was a time where even when I was fat, I could actually run, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm imbalanced and my shoes just make it very hard for me to do. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to get to running, but it's a process. So I'll get there. And
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be like I'm looking to getting new shoes anyway, so I'm hoping that
Yeah.
maybe we
I
could.
heard you mention that.
Yeah,
I heard if you walk a lot on your feet, you should get a new pair. Well, at least sneakers every year. But I mean, who could
yeah,
afford that? I know my daughter does. She makes good money. She has to have her new.
yeah. Well, it's about. I mean, I could now that I have my job, I could probably afford a yearly. It's about $150 for the shoes.
Yeah. I'd rather buy steak or
So
something.
I probably buy
You know
more
what
than just one steak, but
do you know what
I
someone
probably
said?
I probably buy 5 steaks.
Yeah, there you go. I was um, I was on a live chat, Larry's. I don't really chat. I just listen to it because I'm working. It's like 10 o'clock, just not convenient time. And I was almost embarrassed because people are talking about what they eat, da da da. But I like to participate. And I said, I wrote like, I'm really weird. I just eat hamburgers. I mean, I just eat hamburgers. I said this on Kilts, hamburgers and butter. I mean, that's what I want all the time. And I thought that was like bad. There we go again, good or bad. And I was really surprised because Larry and the other people in the chat were like impressed with it. Like, that's where you want to be. Like, you don't crave um, variety so I don't know. It's funny what I thought was a flaw in my character because that's me, blame myself first. Like everyone was impressed. I'm like, oh, really? This is good? Okay, green check. Like
Yeah.
I'm good
Well,
for where I thought
it probably makes
maybe
things easier for you.
yeah,
That you are. That's the way it is. I I actually pretty simplistic when it comes to my meals. Like there was a time when I would actually just. I mean, I don't want to go into too much of myself, but
oh, I'm
because
not
it's not
listening. Don't worry
about.
about me.
Yeah. Oh no, I know you're listening. I know everybody's listening. I just, um, I kind of like look at things as like there's always a time and place for everything. But I also had during this time of me being sick. I don't know you not know this or not, but I had a very bad alcoholic roommate. Very
Right.
bad.
I get tidbits because it's the past. So as a newer viewer,
And
5
she
months ago.
was very like
And
I sort of had to have her in there because she.
somebody saw her at the
I'm sorry.
laundromat the other day. That's right in your neighborhood, and she doesn't even live around there. I follow, but I
Nope.
just
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. No, no problem. Which I still ask the question: why are you doing at my laundromat? There's like about like 15 laundromats in my town,
I
so
think
why
she
pick
wanted
out
to
the
see
one
you
that
to what do you she wanted to maybe bump into you. So that's a fact in my head. I make that facts. So she wanted to see you, but for what reason? To apologize, to ask to come back, to
I
borrow
doubt
money?
you because I doubt it's an apology because if it was an apology, I'm sure she would try to see a way of getting me to see her. Like ask the laundry attendant, like, hey, would you be able to get Tom? I want to, like kind of like bring me in there, not to, like I didn't know she was there until I was told she was there. But like
Yeah.
afterwards, like later on, I I don't think she was even thinking about, like I think she knew where she was at. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think she was even thinking about because like it just didn't dawn on her. And the thing is, she was probably testing not only me out, but the the complex because she
Mm.
was kicked out. After a while, what she would do is she was pretty much what do you call it when somebody lives in your place and they're not supposed to be there?
Oh, squatting.
Squatter. Okay. So she technically became a squatter because she was not paying rent. All right. For 2 years, she paid rent. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she decides not to pay rent anymore. And she was being a squatter, and the police protected her because that's what they do. Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, she left. And by law, if she once she leaves, I can change the locks and I don't have to let her back in. So that's pretty much what happened. Well, during that time, for about like 3 weeks or so, she was like using the public bathroom. She was going into like the laundromat to use the bathroom. And she was living in her car. Okay, now sad as that sounds, I, I'm not going to let her back into my house.
No, no.
You know, I needed to get somebody into my place, and even to tell you the truth, she was costing. Not only was she not paying me, but she was costing me money too. Because she
Okay.
was doing all this damage from smoke and all that stuff. Now somehow she was still able to get beer. She was still able to get cigarettes because people would help her.
Mm.
Okay, of course, and she was just causing all these issues. So after a while, the police came because the landlord called and had her kicked out and pretty
Oh, the
much
land.
taken away, after that. So I'm wondering if she was also testing the laundry, like saying like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm here. Are you guys going to kick me out now? The parking
I
lot? Are you guys
wonder.
going to, you know? So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know what is or what. But I just found it funny. But like when she was living with me, even when she was good, she made my life miserable.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh. How long
and
did she live with you then?
she lived over 2 years, about 2 years and 5 6 months. The first 2 years she was paying my rent. I always say that there's and I could be wrong, but this is how I feel, that there's definitely two types of alcoholics. There's the functioning alcoholic and there's a non-functioning alcoholic. I know many people that are functional, that they
Yep.
drink all the time, they get drunk, they you do not want to be with them when they're bad, but
Yep.
they can still go to work, they still do their job, and they still get paid, and they still pay their bills.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's the non-functioning alcoholic that it's so bad that they can't even walk. They can't even do anything. They're
Is that
just
how she was?
well. She went from functioning to non-functioning. For the first 2 years, she was paying her rent. She was doing everything. Okay. She was even doing her own cable. Like she would give me money because it was under my name, but
How
she
did
was
she
doing her
hold a
own
job
cable.
though? Sorry, I'm choking.
Well,
How
she
did she
always had
hold
the
down the
job. She
she what?
had the job, and then she decided to
Oh,
quit. Yeah, she was working. She was working for the furniture company that I used to work for. Like, she was there before me, and she decided one day that she was going to quit. That she didn't need her exact words to me. Now, I think, and this is probably from interviewing her, that a lot of the things that she was like very delusional and very, and I think that that's sort of why she was drinking so much.
yeah.
But and she had a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and I think she might have been a little schizophrenic. I don't know that for sure. I'm not a
Mhm.
doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but it just feels like there's like a slight connection there. And she would say things like one thing she said that was a little crazy. My sister thought she was like whacked out when she said this. Was you have this ability now, so you make more than I do,
Oh my gosh.
right? Now, when she was working, she made 3 times the amount that I did.
Yeah, but then when she's
Okay,
not working, of course you make more than her because she's not working.
right.
She just
I
wants
said,
oh my god.
I said, a kid with a lemonade stand makes more than you. So what are you talking about? You need to get a freaking job. Okay, you need to get
Sell
rehired.
lemonade.
Well, it's true. The zero, $5 is definitely more than zero.
God. Yeah.
But I
And
mean,
you said that she could charge like $9.99 for, a quart or something of lemonade.
but she did end up leaving. Got kicked out, like I said, and everything. So I figured she was gone, but I haven't seen her at all, But
Yeah,
just to know that she came around is a little disconcerting. But
still around. You
yeah,
know what?
I mean,
I learned
I
more
mean,
about
I'm
you.
a carnivore now,
I
so I'm a
learned
lot
more
better.
about I learned more about you today than ever because you put together the pieces of all the tidbits I hear about, this some infection and
Yeah,
some
yeah.
roommate, and it's like
But but my life, like right now, I stay in I do hang out in my room a lot, but it's not. I hang out in my room. Like I still go out. I still go take the walks. I go, whatever I do. But at that time, it was so bad. This was my routine, okay? And how I was able to go on and off carnivore, even on and off carnivore, is beyond my acknowledgement. My routine was I'd go into the kitchen, okay? Hopefully when she was asleep and not even in there. Now she would hang out all the time. She'd sit at the chair right by the refrigerator door, and she would be smoking away. Now she tricked me into smoking. I'll tell you that some other time. But she's very dishonest, by the way.
oh, I'm
Okay,
sure that
very,
goes with
very scrupulous.
alcoholism. Hmm.
And like I said, I think there's more to it than even the alcohol. But her average intake was about 30 cans of beer a day. That's how much she drank.
Holy
She would drink. She would drink a 30 pack case of beer every day.
wow,
Yeah,
that's impressive.
and
Wow,
scary at the same time.
that's
And
crazy.
yeah, exactly. And so my routine was I would take a cast iron skillet, right, about this big. Let me see if I can get my hands. Okay, sorry, when it's on the phone, it's hard to tell like how big
Yeah.
my hand. About that big, and I put foil on it. I know it's doesn't need foil on it, but I didn't want to have to clean it, so I put the foil
Oh,
on it.
smart. Yeah.
All right, and I would put the burgers in. I defrost like 3 burgers at a time, and I would like 3 to 6 burgers at a time, and I put 3 burgers. I put in the oven for 20 minutes, and then I would go out 20 minutes after. I'd go in my room. Then I'd come out, get the burgers, take the foil, throw it away, put the pan on right on the side, and I would eat the burgers, and that would be my meat. That would be how
Mm.
I would eat every day because I could not be out there for too long. Because if I was, she would start harassing me. She would start giving me a hard time and everything. And in the beginning, when she was paying rent, we kind of had. I wasn't getting disability at first. Like it took 5 months to get disability at least,
It takes a while.
and so my sister was helping me out.
No,
So
that's
it's sort of like but my family kind of had a fear that if we made her angry, that she would leave, and then my sister would be stuck paying all the rent, not just part of the rent.
mm, yeah.
So because of that, we didn't really say too much about her. And the one thing that she did that made me very upset was one day. I guess I'll tell you the story since and I do
A little time
apologize.
left. I have guests coming over
Um,
soon, but I wanna hear the story.
oh, okay. Just let me know. Um, One of the things that she did was one day I'm like it was right when I had my 4 toes taken off, removed, and I was in rehab, and she gives me a call saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" and everything like that. Which I knew by her voice she really could give a hoot on how I was doing, but she would ask, like you just know, and she goes, "Yeah, I got to tell you something."
Uh,
Okay,
uh-uh.
she goes, "Well, you had a letter slipped under the door for you."
Oh, no.
I'm like, okay, we'll just put it on the desk and like with the other mail, and
Like
I'll
normal
take a look at it when I get home. Okay.
yeah,
Without a beat.
Danny's. Without a
So I
what?
took it to work and I opened up and read it.
She said that? Oh,
So now
Sorry.
she got defended because of the concept of doing the rent. She's paying the rent, so it was like, okay, we gotta let this. We can't say anything. We can't do because we can't upset her. But she pretty much opened up my mail, and the reason why she said she did it was because she wanted to see if it was allowed to be smoke if there was smoking allowed in the apartment. So as soon as she did it, guess what she did right away? While I'm gone for like three
Oh
months, she
my.
smoked in the apartment. And I told her, I said, I never said that
What's
you're
the
not allowed.
worst? Go ahead.
Well, I said to her, I never said that the apartment doesn't allow you to smoke. I said I prefer you not to smoke in the apartment because of my health.
Right.
Because it's secondhand smoke. Nothing about the apartment not allowing it. But since she already smoked for so long, I had no choice. She's already done. Like I can't.
She was gonna do what she was gonna do. I
Yeah.
can't believe like, the more you tell, the more I'm like, "She did what?" I thought you had it at 30 beers. No, opening your mail and calling you to tell you about it.
Right. Well, I mean, she really didn't have much of a choice because the letter was the lease.
Yeah,
So I would have had, like if I didn't get, and the lease has to be signed. There's three
gotcha.
people that have to sign the lease. It used to be four, but my mom passed away, so obviously she's not going to sign the lease. But my sister, she actually gave security deposit, so my sister's on the lease. Now I pay all the rent, I do all that stuff. So the only thing my sister's really is there's like no the only connection my sister has really at this point is just the beat, the signature on the lease, and
Yeah,
just
of
to give me a
course.
little credit,
Yeah,
a little credit boost. But other than that, it's mostly like they don't even go to my sister about things. They just like if something happens, they go to me, and then if I have to
sure.
talk to Carrie, then I talk to Carrie. But
Yeah,
so I would have to see the letter because I would have to sign it, and so would
yeah,
Carrie, and of course the
yeah.
landlord had to sign it.
Okay,
So I would have to see the open envelope because it's an envelope that actually says all the headings and everything. So it's not like you can just get a regular envelope and make it look like it was sealed. Like I would know.
I think I would have a nervous breakdown from all of what happened over the last 2
I
years.
I was
I don't know, how did
very
you do it?
I was very depressed. I mean, I
I
know I say I'm depressed a lot now, but I was super super depressed. I never want like I'm not trying to get into like anything big, but I never I never thought of suicide. I never thought of that. But I did think of, and this kind of changed my relationship with God. But I actually used to think, why is God keeping me alive? Why is He putting me
Mhm.
through this torture? Because with her, with you know, in the
Nervous
beginning, in the
yeah,
very, very beginning of it, my mom had just passed away. So you have all this stuff. My mom passed away in 21. So it was just a lot of torture. And that's why I value my channel and everything like that, because
yeah,
the one thing that, and I've said this before, if anybody knows or has it realizes or has listened. But the one thing that was really hurting me was never to be able to tell my story. Everybody that I knew, every time I tried talking about what was going on, they just dismiss me. They would like be like, oh, like that's not true or whatever. And I had like the hospital story, which we'll tell another time. But the
yeah.
hospital story of me having to go there three times before they actually analyzed that I had the infection in the first place.
Holy crap, you coulda died before. Wow.
Yeah. And
This is so heavy, it's so much. It's like, I have to
thank you.
process it, you know what I mean? Like, it's so interesting, like, just hearing tidbits, and understandably, I'm like, "Oh, infection, oh, crazy
Yeah.
roommate, oh," but the depth of it is,
Yeah.
jaw-dropping. That's cr
And
you
that's why
I
it's
don't know
so
how you
important for
I don't
me
know how
for
you're
people
here.
to be able to have their platform on my show, because it's like my way of like saying like, hey, I don't want to do what other people do. I want to be the opposite of what other people did to me. I want to be able to say, do you want you tell your story on my platform? And I also like being on other people's platform. I mean, I've been on I think the last count was 15 people I've been on their channels
Oh,
and
wow.
told my story. The only person, and I don't mean to put you under the bus, not you personally, not
It's
you,
Ruby Goats. Erin, who we thrown under the bus? No, I'm teasing. Go ahead.
nobody. Actually, there's one interview that still has not put it out yet. Is Adam.
Oh, Adam. Yeah.
I love him.
Adam.
Don't get me wrong. And Adam, if you're watching this, it's just to tell you, hey, I'm still waiting for me to be put out there. You
Yeah.
know, but
Well,
but
you told I was going to ask you, um, Rick and Papa first, of course, but then you asked me, and I thought, well, that's going to be weird if I say, oh yeah, I'll come September 14th, and you come the following week on my time. That's just weird. So I was like,
no, I
okay,
would love to be on your channel. But
oh, thank you.
and it's usually Rick and Pop are usually close to being the first. So
Well, I
you
can't
know,
read to Papa. I try to read to Papa. Uh, you know,
yeah.
he'll come
But
around maybe one day.
Papa's the carnivore cheerleader. He will eventually come around. But
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I'm actually finally having Rick going to be on. I actually originally did an interview with him and Aaron together, but that
That's
just
fun.
didn't work out. But I think it is two things. I think I was just starting out, and so I don't think I
Yeah.
was being taken as seriously as. I mean, I think they loved me. Don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah.
don't think they looked at it as them doing an interview. I think they looked at it as just conversation.
Well, I
And
think hold on, my battery's running out. Crap.
well,
I think maybe because a lot of people start and don't stick with it, it could be
yeah,
they
and
like
no, I had
cut
no
it.
problems with it. It was still a pretty good show. It was. If you haven't seen it, it pretty much starred
Aw.
um, Aaron
Aaron.
Booby Goat, Rick, Charter Mopar, Kathy Dixon, myself, and special guest, my niece.
Oh wow. I will find it.
He actually
I
came
will
on. So it's like before Lewis. Like Lewis is my first actual interview,
yeah.
but that was my first actual live, practically. I did a couple test lives before that, but that was my first live that that I did, and it was a pretty good one. But
I'm
I
so glad
always
you
felt
watched.
bad about combining them because something happened with the scheduling that I had to combine them to do an interview together, and I always felt bad about it. So I already interviewed Erin by herself, did Booby Goats already,
I remember that.
and so my next one is going to be with Charger Mopar, which is going to be on the 4th of October.
Yeah. I have one with
So
Milton. I won't say when. And then CB's on Wednesday.
I saw the thumbnail for that.
Oh, it's
Yes.
a horrible thumbnail, and I'm just laughing how horrible it looks, but I was like, "I'm not fixing this." And then hubby's tomorrow, so I'm promoting my hubby. But I'm
Okay.
gonna do a wrap up only because I'm afraid that doorbell rings. They're coming. They
That's
said
no
more
problem.
than,
We can end the show
but then
completely.
I don't wanna be like, "I gotta run." We don't usually have friends over. As a matter of fact, this is one of my very good friends, and we haven't seen each other in 7 months. She
Oh
became a
wow.
grandma, and she's gone. So
Oh, you definitely
I
want to
would
see her then.
you have to come on my show next because I wanna finish the other stories. Forget
Yeah.
about carnivore, this is more interesting to get to know people's authentic self and what they are experiencing in life. It opened my eyes, and I thought all I learned about you in the last 24 hours was it's really hard to keep up with the darn comments, I can't do it, but
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to end the show. Just give me a couple
yeah.
seconds. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So
Is everybody
um,
still on? Oh,
I I think
Sandy's
so.
on.
Yeah.
They're hanging in.
Sandy just said that she loves my niece, and thank you, Sandy.
Oh, she's nice.
Um, so live, love, heal, and for God's sakes, people, eat the meat.
Guys.
I'm just gonna end it. All right.
Uh, his booby go.
Oh god. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Did it end?